background. Hopefully not just about. This is real authentic. You can see my washing in the background. See if it would be anything else. Sorry guys, I am just, anyone who's watching the replay, hey, little number one. How are we this evening? Hey, we got 2 people going on. How are we this evening? Say hello, let me know who you are. This makes me very excited when we get people on in less than a minute. Like, that's commitment. I think you're almost more committed than I am. Hey, Claire! You are number 1. I love it. I'm trying to make it so you can't see my washing, but I think you're going to just see my washing in the background. Very professional YouTuber here. Okay, we're going to give it a few minutes for people to join. I'm very excited to talk about this one. It's kind of an impromptu theme that I chose this morning. I had a whole different topic to talk about. Reminder, I need to do my washing. I like it. I like it. Hey, whoever's just joined, let me know who you are. Say hey. Yeah, this topic that I have chosen, you are not your thoughts or your feelings, is a kind of spur of the moment topic. I had a whole different one planned, but this one just felt more appropriate and it felt right for today. So that's what we've gone with. Trusting that little voice, that intuition, and just following that guidance. So we're going to talk about you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings today. I will give it just a couple more minutes and then we'll get going and we'll do our breath and we'll drop in and we'll start chatting. Okay. Cool. It's chilly in here. Okay, I'm going to give it 25 seconds because then we've made it to 3 minutes and then we'll get going. I know I say that a lot. Oh, this bit is the worst part of the Dharma Talk, is just sat waiting. Once you get going, it's kind of like you're just in flow and you just connect and you just kind of expand and you grow. And this bit's like... All right, we'll get going. Okay, when you feel ready, bring your hands onto your heart center. Take a moment, roll away your shoulders, take a wiggle, close down your eyes. We're just going to take a few deep breaths to drop in. Take a couple of deep breaths and let them go out the mouth. Just allow yourself to arrive here. Hey, beautiful niece. Allow yourself to drop into your body. Press pause on whatever it is that's been going on today. Just connect to how you're feeling this evening. In your body, in your mind, whatever it is that you're feeling right now. And try to let go of that need to change anything. Try to let go of the need to shift how you're feeling and instead just be in whatever it is you are feeling. Take a deep breath in. And then let it go. Open up the eyes. Come back to this space. Okay, so today's topic. You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. And it's kind of a spur of the moment topic. I thought we'd just let it flow, we'd just let it go, we'd kind of talk, we'll keep the conversation going, we'll keep connecting. And this is a really important topic because so often we seem to believe that how we think and how we feel and what our beliefs are us. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in these thoughts and these feelings and these spaces of, I don't like the word, but the word darkness. And when we get wrapped up in these spaces and these thoughts and these feelings, we feel trapped. We feel like we can't come out, we can't shift, we can't find our way. And it impacts almost every single part of our life. What we're thinking and what we feel has such a massive impact on the way we show up in the world, the way we act, and what we do, how we interact with the world, and how we show up and how we communicate. And so, taking this time to really remind ourselves that we are not how we think, we are not what we think, we are not our beliefs, and we are not our feelings is really freeing, because we realize that, yes, this is how we feel right now. Yes, this is what we're thinking right now, but we have the power to change that, and we have the power to shift that. But in saying that, before we can shift, before we can move past it, before we can change it, we have to fully accept it. And this topic came about because last night I had a full on wobbly. Being completely open with you guys, because this is a safe space, I had a full on wobbly. I didn't know how to I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to be. I didn't know how to respond to how I was feeling. I felt so consumed by my thoughts and by how I was feeling that it almost became me. Have you ever had those times when you maybe have an argument with someone, or you react in a way that you didn't really necessarily want to react, and then you come out of that, you look back and you think, oh my god, why did I do that? That wasn't me. It feels like a completely different person to who you actually are. And often that's because we take on the identity of how we're thinking, and we take on the identity of how we're feeling, and it becomes us. But the reason that we often get trapped in how we're feeling and thinking is because we're trying so hard not to be that. We're trying so hard to push that away, and we're trying not to think that way. We're trying not to feel that way. And instead of that, I really invite you to embrace it, to welcome it, to not identify with it, to not create a story around it, to not attach yourself to those thoughts or those feelings, but to welcome it in, and welcome the fact that it is a part of your experience. And that's all it is. It's just a part of your experience in that moment. And often when we get wrapped up in these thoughts, in these feelings and our beliefs, we never quite find a level place to be. We never quite find stability. We're very up and down, because one minute we're feeling amazing and this is who we are. We're bubbly, we're positive, we're fun, we're laughing, we're smiling, we're these happy, bubbly people and amazing. But if we identify as that and then we feel a little bit funky, we kind of almost sink so much lower, because we are identifying ourselves as this bubbly person. And then when we feel a normal human emotion of feeling a little bit funky, a little bit sad, a little bit frustrated, we have so far to fall, and we almost lose who we are because we identified with that place of feeling happy and bubbly and positive. And it's amazing to feel that way. It's amazing to feel this way, but it is not you. And it will pass, it will change, and it will shift. And I think remembering that, no matter where on the scale you are, whether you are feeling funky and low and struggling, or whether you are feeling high vibe and positive, remembering that it will shift and it will change, and just enjoying that moment of being wherever you are and knowing that it will change is really important, but really also quite empowering, because you realize that this is not you. You have the ability to shift where you are if you fully embrace and accept where you are. How can we shift? How can we change if we don't fully embrace and accept where we are? And I think that is so important, is to just allow and welcome it in, because then we know how to move forwards. And I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that, where you just kind of get so consumed and wrapped up in how you're feeling and how you're thinking and everything that's going on in this experience right now. Yes, Claire, you just lose yourself in it. You completely lose who you are, and you lose your ability to choose who you want to be and how you want to show up. And our realities, our minds create our lives. Our lives are created up here first. But if we are identifying ourselves with our thoughts, then we are not able to shift our thoughts. And it sounds counterintuitive. It sounds a little bit crazy that by just welcoming in our thoughts, we're also letting them shift. By trying not to shift, by not trying to change them, by trying to just welcome them in instead, we're actually creating that shift. We're creating that space of acceptance. And I think one of the most important lessons in life is fully accepting yourself as you are, and accepting every single thought, every single feeling, every single part of your experience, because that is a lesson. It is a moment in your journey. It is a step. It is a pathway to wherever you want to be. But until we accept ourselves and trust ourselves and realize that we have the ability to change our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs, then we end up stuck where we are. There is a saying, I'm pretty sure it's Buddha, who says that suffering is created by our resistance to how we feel, by our resistance to our experience, by our resistance to our thoughts. That is what creates suffering. If you welcoming it in, you trust it, and you allow it to move through you, there is no suffering, there is no resistance. You just allow it to pass. And everything we think, everything we feel is part of being human. It's part of this crazy journey that we're on. And really allowing it to move through us instead of holding on to it is how we move forwards into the future. By allowing ourselves to be everything, to be the highs, be the lows, be everything in between, be the fear, be the excitement, be the joy, the sadness, the light, the darkness, the yin, the yang, be everything. We welcome every part of our experience, and we really allow ourselves the power to choose where we want to be and choose where we're going. And this idea that we are not our thoughts gives us so much power to shift and change them. And I think it's a crazy kind of tangle, because you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, and by welcoming them in, you feel like you're attaching yourself to them, but you're not. You're just allowing it to be there. You're just allowing it to be part of your experience now. You're allowing yourself to be human. You're allowing yourself to feel whatever it is you feel, and then you're allowing it to move through you. By resisting it, you're almost holding on to it. You're picking up that problem. You're picking up that thought. You're picking up that feeling. If you just accept it, welcome it in, and let it move through you, it will work its natural way out of you. We are in this constant flow, this constant cycle of feeling good, of feeling high, of feeling low. It's all part of our experience. And the only issue that we have is when we resist our experience, when we try and stop ourselves feeling whatever it is we feel in this moment. And when we attach ourselves to those thoughts, by attaching ourselves, we don't allow ourselves to grow. We don't allow ourselves to shift. We don't allow ourselves to learn the lessons we need to learn from whatever it is we're experiencing right now. And so last night when I had my wobble, I recognized that part of the reason I was having this wobble is because I had spent so long pretending that I was fine, pretending that I didn't feel the way I felt. And then it took over because I was so, oh, Claire. I feel like a lot of people are feeling this way at the moment, that we're feeling so consumed, especially if you guys are in the UK and you're in lockdown and it's been a bit of a crazy journey. All of us are feeling quite overwhelmed by how we're feeling. And I want you to know whatever you feel is welcome, that whatever you feel is okay, and that you are not alone in how you feel. And really allow it to be a part of your experience. Allow yourself to learn from whatever you are and let it move through you. Let it pass. Let it just kind of naturally work its way through you, and let it move. Let it flow. So yeah, part of why I was feeling the way I was feeling is because I was pretending that I was fine, and I was pretending I didn't feel the way I felt. And then it took over, because it didn't go away by me pretending it wasn't there. It didn't go away by me pretending I was happy. If anything, it took over and it consumed me. And I was in this place of fighting how I was feeling. I was trying so, so hard not to feel that way, that I was holding on to that feeling. I didn't just welcome it in and let it move past me. And this morning, when I sat there, and I like to talk to myself a lot. I like to ramble a lot. But as I sat there and spoke to myself and I let it in, and I said, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I welcome that. I allow that. This is my experience. It slowly started to shift. And I brought awareness to how I was feeling, and then I brought awareness to the things that were holding me in that feeling. By creating that space of acceptance, I created a space of awareness, and by creating a space of awareness, you are able to detach from the things that hold you in that space. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you guys. Hopefully I am. But yeah, a big part of this lesson is to really welcome in however you feel, but know that it is not you. Know that it will pass, and know that you are not your thoughts. You are not how you feel. It is simply part of your experience in this moment. And this moment, this experience, is what is leading you to where you're meant to be. Every single moment in this life is a step on our journey. And I think so often in this life, we get wrapped up in the destination, in trying to achieve something, trying to get somewhere, that we don't really allow ourselves to be on the journey. We don't really allow ourselves to be on the path. We don't allow ourselves to be in this moment. But that is life. What is the point in life if we're not really in the moment and we're not really living? Otherwise, you get to like 85 and you think, oh, I didn't really live. I missed out on so much because I didn't just allow myself to be where I was. I didn't allow myself to be on the journey. I didn't allow myself to live. And I think this idea of you are not your thoughts is just allowing yourself to be in your experience without attaching an identity to it, without attaching a story to it, without resisting, just welcoming it in, letting it move through you, and allowing yourself to move forwards. So I'll keep this shorter than we did last week, because I think it was quite a long one last week. But I thought we'd kind of talk about a few things of how we can start to shift our thoughts. And obviously, the first one is welcome it in. The first one is accept every single part of how you're feeling in this moment. And one of my favorite ways to do that is mantras and affirmations and present moment awareness. So connecting to your breath, connecting to your body, connecting to how you're feeling, and just reminding yourself that it's okay, reminding yourself that you're okay, reminding yourself that you are safe and that this will pass. And one of my favorite all-time mantras, which I use almost every single day, almost every single moment of the day, is So Hum. And it is this mantra of acceptance, of welcoming every single part of being human. So Hum translates to I am that. And it is a real mantra of just welcoming, accepting, of allowing things to move through you, of allowing yourself to be in your experience, but allowing it to pass. And resistance does not allow us to let things pass. Resistance creates attachment. Resistance creates suffering. And so welcoming it in, being in the moment, being in the experience, and allowing it to pass. That's one of the ways we can kind of detach ourselves from our thoughts and allow ourselves to move through them and allow ourselves to kind of move forwards. And another way of welcoming the thoughts without attaching stories is to once we're aware of them, once we notice them, once we allow them to be a part of our experience, taking time to rewrite them. And this isn't creating resistance. This isn't saying this, I don't feel this way. By rewriting them, we're fully accepting them, but we're deciding to write ourselves a new story moving forwards. So what I like to do is when I have like negative self-talk or limiting beliefs or any feelings of fear or worry or anxiety, anything that is kind of weighing me down or keeping me small or stopping me from feeling the way I want to show up in the world, I write it down. I write it down and then I rewrite the story. Because often these thoughts that we are thinking, these things that we are saying to ourselves, it is a story we have created. It's a story we've created in our mind. And it comes from past experiences, it comes from judgment, it comes from criticism, it comes from a lack of compassion towards ourselves. So, really taking time to connect to those thoughts, to connect to that space, to connect to how you're thinking and how you're feeling, and then taking the time to write yourself a new story. Literally write them down and write a new story. And then every time that you see that thought or that feeling pop up in your mind, come back to that new story, come back to that space of welcoming in the person that you want to be, welcoming the way you want to interact with the world and the way you want to be in the world without creating resistance, which is a challenge, I know. But with practice and time, we can really allow ourselves to enjoy life, even the bumps. We can allow ourselves to enjoy every single up and down and bump and turn and wobble of life, because we know that it's just part of who we are. It's just part of our experience. It's part of every single path on this journey. So yeah, rewriting our thoughts is a really powerful way. But also, another way I like to do it is write yourself a story on a piece of paper, not attached to your journal. Write however you're feeling or thinking or whatever you're believing in that moment, whatever is holding you back, whatever is keeping you small. Write it down on a piece of paper, rip it up, light it on fire. Really energetically release those thoughts, release those feelings, release that experience, and allow yourself to move forward. Because often when we hold on to our thoughts, we keep picking them back up. We keep holding ourselves in that space. And we feel like we're stuck on a loop. It's like we're running up a hill on roller skates. We're trying so hard to get away from these thoughts, but we keep picking them back up because we're resisting them and we're not allowing them just to move energetically through us. I'm hoping this is making sense, guys. As I'm talking, I feel like I'm properly rambling and I feel like I'm tangling it up in a mess. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Another way of detaching from our thoughts is to connect to your body and to use your body as a tool for moving the thoughts through you. So often the way we feel is held in certain parts of our bodies. If you are feeling anxious, you often feel like tensed. Your shoulders are up here. If you feel stressed, you're kind of holding yourself in this body position. If you are feeling upset, you can often feel it in your tummy, or you get headaches or anything like that. We feel our emotions physically in our bodies. So we can also use our bodies as a tool to shift how we're thinking and how we're feeling. So by welcoming our experience, we know what we're feeling and we know how to move through it. We can use our bodies to perfect sense. Amazing. We can use our bodies to like shake. Amazing way to move through whatever it is you're feeling is to shake the body. It releases the whatever you're holding in your body energetically. It releases whatever feelings or emotions that's keeping you small by just shaking the body and really letting it go and ignoring the little voice in your head that tells you you look goofy, ignoring the voice in your head that tells you you shouldn't be doing this or that this isn't normal, and just allowing yourself to really freely shake your body and move your body. And it can be in the form of shaking, it could be in the form of yoga, whatever movement that your body needs, just to kind of release, find that place of release. And it feels amazing when you do it. But again, it really requires us to accept where we are and bring awareness to where we are and allow ourselves to be where we are. Because if we don't accept and become aware of where we are, we cannot use the right tools and the right practices to move through it. We have to connect and welcome it in first before we can let it move through us. So movement is one of the most powerful ways. And another amazing way is just using our breath. If you're feeling anything heavy or any type of anxiety or any type of stress, we can really use our breath to release and let it go. So by lengthening the exhale, we are slowing our bodies down, we're resetting our nervous system, and we're allowing our bodies to naturally move through whatever we're experiencing. By fighting how we're feeling, we're not allowing our bodies to do what we naturally do. These feelings, these thoughts are natural. They're part of they're part of being a human being, and we're supposed to feel them and we're supposed to be able to move through them. But by fighting them and resisting them, we're picking them up and we're not allowing ourselves to naturally let it pass. Often we think we have to do something. And I know these tools and practices are doing, but it's also an element of being. It's an element of just allowing ourselves to let it go, to let it pass, to do something, to shift and to move. Me and G are shaking and wiggling. Yes, shake, wiggle, put the tunes on, give it a little wiggle. I absolutely love it. I do almost every day. I just kind of shake my head, shake my body, wiggle the hips. That's an amazing one to ground yourself, is to kind of wiggle your hips in a figure of 8. And I love that. So yeah, those are kind of my big tips for shifting how you're feeling, is to rewrite your story, allow it to be there, welcome it in, let it naturally in its own time move through you. Try not to fight it, try not to create a story, try not to resist it. Just allow it to be there, allow it to move through you, allow it to pass. Knowing that this is natural, this is part of being human, and it will pass. You don't have to do anything to make it pass. There are things you can do to help in that experience, to help you be in that moment, to help you let it pass. But ultimately, it will naturally pass if you just allow it, if you just let it. And also movement and breath. They are my biggest tools for anything in life. It's just to come back to this tool, your body. You are an energetic being, but you have this body to be a part of this physical experience. So whatever it is you're feeling in this physical experience, use your physical body as a tool to get through it, to move through it, to connect to it, to become aware of it. This is your biggest tool in life. And in yoga, they often say you are not your mind, you are not your body. And you're not your mind, you're not your body, you're an energetic being. Your mind is just simply a tool, your body is simply a tool, but use it as a tool. Use this as your tool for your life, for your experience. Use what you have been given to move through your experience and to step closer to where you want to be. We are born into this life with absolutely everything we could possibly need. When you look at nature, nature isn't out there trying to get something or achieve something or do something. Nature just happens as it's meant to happen. And we are part of nature. We are not artificial. We are nature. We come from nature. We will go back to nature. So really have trust and faith in that natural process and in everything that nature gave you. Often we search for the answers, we search for everything outside of us, but we are given everything we need in here. There is nothing you have to do, there is nothing you have to go and find, there is nothing you have to achieve. It will naturally happen if you allow it to happen. If you guys have anything else, any questions or anything you want to ask me, then drop them in the chat. And if not, we'll just kind of end with a breath. Or anything, any wisdom that you guys have to share. Like, this isn't just me rambling at you guys. If you have something to share, your own experience or a tool or a practice that you do, feel free to share it in the chat, because I want this to be a big community thing. I want us to share. I want it to be a conversation, not just me rambling at you guys. But hopefully you took something away from this. If you took anything away from it, just know that whatever you are experiencing, whatever you are feeling is okay. Know that it will pass, and know that it is not you. You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, and it will pass in time. It will pass if you allow it. And know that whatever you feel and experience is okay, and that you are enough, and that you have everything you could possibly need inside of you. As a yoga teacher, I'm a great believer in connecting to the body, using the breath and using the body to help us move through everything. Yoga is simply a guideline and a practice for making our way through life and being a human being, and coming back home to ourselves, and coming back to everything we know when we are first born, but everything we forget throughout our crazy experience. And so I truly believe that everything in life can be overcome by coming back to this, and by coming back to our breath, and by taking time to really focus the mind and let the mind go. Press pause, let it go, and let yourself be wherever you are, because it's okay. So yeah, you are not alone. You are whole, you're enough, you're worthy, you're incredible. You are not your thoughts, and they will pass. And I think that's all I really have to say. I did kind of plan other things, but I think that will be another topic for another day, because we're already at 30 minutes and I've just rambled at you, kind of repeating myself a few times. But guys, as you've got no questions or nothing else to say, I think we'll end with a nice little breath, just to drop back into our bodies, to drop back to our breath, and to reconnect, and to just be wherever we are, because wherever you are is okay. So bring your hands onto your heart center, relax the shoulders, close down the eyes, take a moment just to breathe, to feel your breath in your body, to know that whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling is okay. To know that whatever you're experiencing right now is not permanent, it will change. To know that whatever you think can be shifted. And know that you have everything you need inside of you. Take a deep breath in, and then let it go. Release the hands, open up the eyes. You guys have been absolute soldiers. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for sharing this space with me. As always, if you have any topics or anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to journey through together or work through together, drop them in the comment of this video or send me a message, and we can create a Dharma talk around that topic, because this space is just a big space of learning and growing and expanding together. So I hope you guys have an absolutely incredible evening. You are all so amazing and so worthy and so enough. And you truly, you're on the best path, because you're showing up for yourselves and you're taking time to dive in, and all the answers lie from within. So if you take this time to dive in, then you are limitless, and the potential for what you will experience is unlimited. So thank you guys. Have a beautiful week, a beautiful evening, and I will see you next Tuesday for our Dharma talk. Next week is going to be all about trust. That was the topic we were going to do for this week, so I've already planned that one. Unless you guys want something else to talk about, but I was planning trust. So have a beautiful week, everybody. I will see you next Tuesday, and thank you for sharing this space. Thank you for sharing your energy and your time and your wisdom, and thank you for just showing up for yourself. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, everybody.